Hello and welcome to another Firewood News Update. Now it's getting to be into August here and there hasn't been very much news the past couple months. It's been summertime, not a lot of wood going on. Everybody's just making that wood, saving up, getting ready for the winter, I suppose. So I haven't done an update in a few months, but there's a few stories here I wanted to talk about and go through. So let's go ahead and jump on into it, go through a few news articles here. Now you go ahead, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, do whatever you got to do. So first up here now we have a fire that was in Crystal Lake at a firewood production facility. Now crews responded to what initially they thought was a mulch fire at 8195 Pyatt Road in Lake of the Hills. And when they got to the scene, it was actually a firewood kiln that had caught on fire. And there was no fire hydrants in the immediate vicinity, so they had to upgrade the status of the fire and bring in additional units from additional departments and additional units from the surrounding area to put this fire out. And they had to tank in water. It took over 30,000 gallons of water to extinguish this fire, and it ended up causing $200,000 in damage, roughly estimated. So nobody was hurt in this fire, but quite a bit of damage and a little bit of a setback there for that firewood company. So not a good deal out there. And the name of this firewood company was Lumberjacks Inc. Hopefully they'll get through that out there and be able to move on with business and get that taken care of. Hopefully they had insurance on that kiln. Now, there's a new AI app that is a firewood splitting simulator, and this gentleman who designed it, he 3D scanned his axe and stumps and wood and that type of thing and made an AI firewood splitting app, so you can sit there and chop this wood into different types of sizes and pieces and watch your wood pile grow. If you want to try to find that, it's called the Firewood Splitting Simulator. Maybe you can search for it on Google, or maybe I could possibly put a link in here, but I'm not too concerned with that. Just look for it on your own. Wanted to let you know that's going on out there. AI firewood. I don't think you'll get as much exercise out of that as you would if you actually chopped wood yourself. Moving right along, in Fairbanks, Alaska, they are facing a firewood supply crisis, they say. Aurora Energy is a major supplier out there, and they are having to wind down their firewood business by the end of the year due to rising operating costs. And even at selling wood at $650 a cord, they're saying it's still not profitable. So they're going to finish their existing wood, which is about 1,200 more cords, and they have wood on site you can pick up if you go in person and pick it up. That wood will be available as long as supplies last. But some people in the surrounding community are saying that they have a hard time sourcing wood, like restaurants that burn wood in their ovens and that type of thing. So they're not sure where they're going to find wood, and they're saying, some people are even saying that it could lead to air pollution because this was a kiln-dried, big-time firewood business, and it put out a lot of quality, dry burning wood. So, you know, that's kind of hard to estimate whether or not and anybody else will step up to fill that demand and all that, and if there's other dry wood available. But that's going on there in Fairbanks, Alaska, so they have till the end of 2026 to get that wood out of that place, and it will be gone. The next story I want to cover is in Indianapolis, where a man reportedly drove his car through his house while unloading firewood. Now this happened in the 3000 block of Ribbon Drive, and this gentleman had driven his car with a trunkload of wood around his house and was attempting to unload wood out of his trunk near his wood pile. But apparently he didn't realize his car was in drive and not reverse, and when he punched the gas, proceeded to drive through a flower bed and through the walls of his house into his house. Now this displaced his whole family, and they had to call an inspector out to shore up the load-bearing walls and that type of thing. Made quite a mess there. So that happened. Always got to be careful when you're unloading that wood. And moving right along here, in Walkersville, West Virginia, a Lewis County woman has been charged with allegedly assaulting somebody with a piece of firewood. And after she was consuming alcoholic beverages there, she was naked and apparently beat somebody, and he had 2 fractured jaw bones, had to go to the hospital. So she was charged with malicious wounding is what it says the charges were, and she was being held in the Tigard Valley Regional Jail. So that case is still ongoing, and this is all allegedly what happened, but she fled the residence and she took the piece of wood with her, so they had to come back and do some investigations here. Not sure how that case will pan out, but this woman's name is Tammy Haggerty, who is 50 years old. So no idea why she did that, but apparently initially they said she had assaulted him with a shoe. It appeared that it turned out to be a piece of firewood. Next, in the Olympic National Forest, between June 1st and December 31st of this year, 2026, free firewood for personal uses permits are being issued. You're free to go in there and cut wood, says the forest supervisor. And you're allowed up to 6 cords of free personal use wood, by the way. So free 6 cords of wood cut out of the Olympic National Forest. You might want to take advantage of that if you're in that area. Next, moving over to Scotland, we're seeing more health and environmental groups are calling on the Scottish government to take stronger action and regulate wood burning, whether it's emissions from wood stoves or wood boilers or whatever, but they're still complaining that they need to comply with the Clean Air Act and they want these people to stop burning up that wood. So the fight is going to rage on over there in Scotland over the wood boilers and the particulate matter that comes out of people's fireplaces and things like that. These environmental groups are trying to crack down on it. So keep your eyes open for that, and we'll continue to watch these stories. We've already talked about all the wood boiler stuff in the past and going on in Europe and in the United States, everywhere really. But this is just more continued pressure that they're trying to put on the government to further regulate fireplaces and wood boilers. Worth noting there. Keep an eye on that. So the final things that we're going to talk about is the whole world is on fire. There's wildfires raging out of control in Spokane, Washington. Over in Europe, we're seeing all of that heat wave. 100+ degree temperatures and drought have caused wildfires in France and Greece. There was helicopters colliding that were fighting the fires. We've seen wildfires in Canada. All over the place. So everybody's aware of that, and all those wildfires are continuing to go on. That's why it's so important to keep the forest floors clean, monitor your campfires, don't leave them and get sparked up when you leave and that type of thing. And that's going on all over the place. So these stories are continuing to develop, and they're continuing to fight these fires throughout the summer. It's a dry period, and that's why we see these burn bans and campfire bans and that type of thing. So we will watch this, and hopefully these things will come under control here over the next few weeks or whatever by the end of the summer. So that was just a quick firewood news update. Thank you for stopping by and checking it out. A little bit of firewood news here today. Not a ton of stuff, but just a few things worth mentioning. Hadn't had an update in a few months. So you have a good day, and we'll see you next time.